See how you can make Dollar Tree Christmas trees into a snowflake wreath for your front door. And it's December 2nd, and I was in Dollar Tree last night, and they still had tons of these Christmas trees. So you're going to need to get 6. And then these are the rest of the supplies you're going to need to make this. Now you'll see that I have 8 Dollar Tree Christmas trees because you're probably going to want to get 2 more, and you'll see why in a minute. And we only need the trees. You can get rid of that little base. You can just pull it off, and then there's some little legs that come in there. We don't need those either.
Oh my goodness. Look how they're different.
So you can hear I'm just realizing that my Christmas trees are different colors. If that's something that's going to bother you, you might want to check it out before you leave the store and make sure they're all the same color. I think in every video I've made, I have goofed up somewhere. And I keep them in because I'm sure other people goof up too. So it's just to show that, you know what, it all can be fixed at the end and mistakes happen, and most of the time you can fix it. So this is my mistake right here. I've got 6. I don't have them lined up correctly for a snowflake. So I think I've goofed and I need 2 more, which I had. So this is me pulling out 2 more to make an 8-sided snowflake. And we all know snowflakes are 6-sided. So for most of the video, you're going to see an 8-sided snowflake and me assembling an 8-sided snowflake. But when it's all done, it'll be 6-sided. The first thing I did was smash down the end of the tree to make it nice and flat so it would be easier to assemble. And this was pretty easy to do, just using the rubber mallet. First I used hot glue to glue the trees together, and then I clamped it so that I didn't have to hold it until the glue was dry. Once the glue was dry, then I used wire to secure it. Then I repeated that process 3 more times. Now I could have been done right here, but I did 1 more. But it turned out great because I got a whole nother project out of it, which you'll see at the end. And here's where I wrap it in wire to make sure it's nice and secure. And then I added more glue to make sure this thing was not going to ever fall apart. I don't know the gauge of this wire, but it was pretty thick. I really don't think you need a wire this thick. A thinner wire would probably work just fine, and it would be easier on the hands. And using a pair of pliers really helps smash that wire down. To put the snowflake together, I started out with 2 of them, and I just kept adding wire till I felt like it was really secure, and then I just added another one, wired it, and I added another one until I just felt like everything was nice. It wasn't going anywhere. And then when I got everything the way I wanted it, I used hot glue to try to keep them all in place. Even when smashing down the end of the trees, it was still pretty thick in the center, so I was trying to smash it a little bit more before I put on the final wire. But first, a little more hot glue. And it's finally ready to fluff the branches. And I pulled them to the side more than I pulled them up because I wanted to kind of fill it out on the sides. And now it's all fluffed and ready for the bows. And I am really not a good bow maker, so I have been practicing. But the bad thing is that between my head and the camera going blurry because it was focusing on my head, this is not a good tutorial to learn how to make a bow. So I'm going to skip all this part, and at the very end I do a tutorial on making a bow with this bow maker. So we're just going to skip ahead to putting the bows on. And as you can see here, I actually made 3 bows. I'm sure if I was very good at making bows and using the bow maker, I probably could have done it all at one time, but this was a pretty big bow, so I actually did 3 different bows and then kind of hooked them together. And when you make a bow, there's a lot of fluffing. Fluffing is a big deal. Fluffing is bow making 101. So I'm fluffing. I delete about 5 minutes of fluffing, and then I think I'm finally done. I looked through all my Christmas pics and I had this one that I thought would be perfect for the snowflake. But I only had one, so I cut it all apart so that I could have enough. And once I figured out where I wanted them all to go, I zip tied them in. I didn't use hot glue for the bow or the florals because I wanted to be able to easily remove those, because when Christmas is over, I've already made a big bow that's blue that I'm going to use for the winter. And did you notice that my snowflake is now 6 points? You'll have to watch to the very end to see what I did with the extra 2 points. And let me know what you would have done. Would you have fixed the snowflake? When I was cutting apart the floral to use here, I ended up with one stem that was just berries, so I cut some leaves off another one of these, and then I was wiring them together so everything had greenery on every point of the snowflake. And with a little more bow fluffing, we're done. And this is how it turned out. And after prying points 7 and 8 off my snowflake, this is what I did. I took a couple of more pics, and I think these also came from Walmart. And I think we have a swag now. I think that's what this is called. I made a bow out of red burlap, and the next bow that I make, I'm going to show you how I made it. But I attached the red bow using a red pipe cleaner. I'm not going to speed this up at all, so it's going to be in real time to make this bow. Once you determine how big you want your bow to be, and this one is 4 inches, well, it's really 8 inches, 4 inches on each side of these 2 poles. You push the ribbon through and you squish it like. Then you twist it, because you always want the good side of the ribbon on the outside of the loop. So I'm going to push it, then now I'm going to twist it. So right here, my fingers are on the wrong side of the ribbon. And then when I bring the ribbon over to put it back in through the 2 wooden poles, the outside, the right side of the ribbon is showing. So basically, you just want to remember that the right side of the ribbon is always on the outside of the loop. That's why we twist it. And it's really hard to tell with this ribbon because it kind of looks like it's 2-sided. But it's not really. If you look real close, you can see that one side doesn't have a nice as edge as the other side. If I thought I was going to do a bow tutorial, I would have used this ribbon, but this is the ribbon that I wanted to use for this project. So I'm going to link below a couple of videos that I watched, but this should show you that with just a little bit of practice, you really can master this easy bow maker, because I've had that easy bow maker for years and I just never could make a bow, but I have been practicing and I think I have it. And if you have any hand issues like I do, I have arthritis in my hands, this bow maker makes it a lot easier to make a bow. I'm definitely not speedy at making a bow, but I will get faster, and now I don't always have to just make messy bows, which was my go-to bow before. Now you just take a zip tie and you slide it underneath, and then just start your zip tie, lock it into place, but don't pull it tight, because what you're going to do is once you pull it up, well, first of all, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little groove where the bow is going around those poles, which is the exact center, and so you want to move that zip tie over to there, and then put this Chanel stick, pipe cleaner, underneath, and then cinch your zip tie really tight, because now that pipe cleaner is, you're ready to tie it on wherever your bow's going to go. You're all ready. You already have something to attach it with. And now, of course, fluffing. And I'll speed up this fluffing part. And now we're ready to put on the bow. And now I can use that pipe cleaner to attach it. I just have to twist it on. Which of course smushed my bow, so now more fluffing. And of course the other big part of bow making is dovetailing the ends. And I've heard two different theories. One, that your tails should be all the same length, and two, it doesn't matter, they shouldn't be the same length. So you know what? Whatever you like, that's how you make your ties. And I love how this turned out, and I probably wouldn't have made it if I hadn't have made that mistake. I put my swag on an old picture frame, and I really love the way it turned out. But I am wondering why I made that one tail go straight up. I need to go fix that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.